Hey everybody, Mike Sheemer here. In this video I just kind of wanted to discuss something that I've been talking about for the last, honestly, 15 or 20 years, and I used to get criticized and laughed at, and, you know, people at the time, they weren't ready to, to accept this, and that is the dwindling value of a college education, or a master's degree or an advanced degree for many people. Um, I mean, all you have to do is look at the plague of student loans and look at the disaster of so many graduates that are, they shelled out 100, 200, three or $400,000 for their college education. Um, you know, schools can be now set $70,000 to $90,000 per year for, if you better finish it in 4 years, hopefully, and then that's not including grad school, which can be at least another year and a half, if not 2, 3, 4 years. Just think of like law school or med school. I mean, that's just a whole different ball game. But the graduates sometimes they're having trouble getting jobs, or they're making 30,000, 35, 40, $50,000, and they can barely even afford to support themselves financially and pay back their student loans, even at a very slow rate. It's pretty sad. And even back when I went to school, I graduated 15 years ago. So when I was at the end of my high school, my high school studies, I wanted to be a personal trainer and work at a gym, be a gym manager or gym owner, whatever. I wanted to work in the fitness industry, and I was like, I don't even need to go to college. I want to go to the cheapest school. I just really wanted to work at like the YMCA and then Gold's Gym and World's Gym, that kind of stuff. This was way back like 2003, 2004, so a while ago, 20 years ago. And my parents, like, you have to go to college, you have to. I was like, okay, then I'm going to go to the cheapest one I can find. The one I got the most scholarship money to go to. It paid for 60%. It was already cheap. It's semi-cheap to begin with. So, I mean, I at least was practical about it. And and a lot of my peers, they went to the most prestigious school they could get into. I didn't do that. I went to the best bargain, the most prestigious school, the most expensive school, and a lot of them, they're in their 30s or early 40s, and they can't even, they have only paid off half their student loans, or maybe even less than that. So it's just really sad. And they're not even making, they're not making fortunes. They're probably making, $70,000 or $80,000, maybe 90 something thousand at the most. After 15 years of a career after an expensive college. So you see what I'm saying. And the thing is that if you want to be, obviously, a doctor, a lawyer, a healthcare professional, an engineer, something like that, then you have no option. Okay, so you have to go to school at least 4 years, possibly 6 to 8 years. There's no real way around it. You can try and get scholarships. You can try and find the best bargains. State schools, community colleges. Maybe you could get an athletic scholarship. Kind of really have to do whatever you can to get through it. Work through school. I worked through my school, and that's why I could pay off my student loans. Combined with the cheap school scholarship, I worked 3.5 of the 4 years that I was in college, as much as I could. Sometimes too much, to be honest. So you can make it work. Sometimes you have to, but unless you're getting a very specific type of education, there's no guarantee it's going to pay off. the chances are almost that it's not going to pay off. And then compare that with different options. You could start a business. I wouldn't recommend it right out of high school, unless you have a lot of success at a young age. But you could start a business, take that money instead of school, start a business, invest in some business assets or a service business that costs almost nothing. But it's very low risk if you have a service business sometimes. Very low overhead. You can work from home. You can travel to customers' houses or clients. You could just start at the bottom somewhere. If you're already working somewhere that's good, part-time in high school, or early in college and you figure out it's not really for you, you could just work at that place and work your way up to the top. And it might not be the most glamorous job or industry, whatever, but you could end up making good money. There's retail store managers that make 150 grand, and they barely have probably high school diplomas. Work your way up to store manager, district manager, whatever. You could join a network marketing company or an affiliate marketing company, become a YouTuber, a social media influencer, do drop shipping, whatever. I mean, there's a lot of options. Another option, I'm not personally promoting this because certainly it's risky and has a lot of sacrifices, but you could become a police officer or a firefighter, or join the military. And there's obviously no cost, or maybe you have to pay a little bit for like the police academy. Very little money compared to anything else. But you start getting paid pretty well right off the bat. You got great benefits. There are a lot of opportunities. Like, there's always shortages. There are always people. There's always turnover. And that's unfortunate. Some of the turnover is, of course, tragic. You can end up having them pay for your education too, at least in the military, and sometimes to a limited extent in law enforcement. Now there's a lot more kind of desk jobs in the military, in the Navy a little bit more, but also certainly much more in the Air Force and the Space Force, the new Space Force. There's cybersecurity, there's a lot of different things like that, where you're not like boots on the ground. You're not in the infantry, we'll say. And just kind of in a similar way, there are training programs. You could become a truck driver right out of high school, or do construction or something, and you end up making a ton of money. Truck drivers sometimes can make over $100,000, and certainly they don't need a college education. You can be a rich truck driver, or you could be a poor person with a sociology degree, a social worker or something like that. I mean, it's crazy these days. It's just, the main one that I wanted to focus on before I forget is, as a college alternative, is working in the trades. And look, I'm not the handiest person. I'm not great at all. I just haven't, been able to devote a lot of time and energy into that, because I'm always on the computer. I'm always doing business stuff. I'm always investing. I used to spend a lot of time at the gym, so I was handy with gym equipment, gym electronics, clean, just simple stuff. But that was about it. But if you're in the trades, you're just getting paid to learn right off the bat. You could even start in a trade school in high school, honestly. But if you get into a real trade, carpentry, pipe fitters, electricians, plumbers. You could make a lot of money and pretty quickly and be in high demand almost all the time. And you're just getting paid to learn. So instead of 5 years of education where you're paying 6 figures and you're making almost no money, or you're just losing money, you could be a an expert in the trades, or a journeyman or whatever, and you'll have, instead of being in debt hundreds of thousands of dollars, you have a couple $100,000 in the bank, invested, whatever. Maybe you're even starting your own service business, or you're working for an entrepreneurial master electrician or something like that. And these skills are becoming oftentimes more and more scarce. People can barely screw in a light bulb right now, so it's crazy. But those are just some options. You got to keep an open mind for you or your kids, the best solution for their skill set, their goals, and the finances involved. So thanks for watching, guys. More videos coming soon.